Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Cigars and Everything Else podcast, episode 8. In this week's episode, we discuss where do you like to smoke your cigars? You have a preferred location? Do you like doing it at home? Do you like going at a lounge? Do you like smoking your cigars on the water? We discuss all those. Also, this past weekend, there was a big fight. On Saturday, we had the trilogy between Fury and Wilder. We discussed that. And, of course, today's Monday, so we already have the results now. But we didn't at the time of this recording, so, we get into that. And also, we have some hip-hop talk. We discuss, what happened to the crew in hip-hop. Is there the death of the crew? Does it still exist? And do you miss it, or is it still needed? Would it even have a place in today's music? All right, we're going to get into all that. I'm not going to hold you. Let's get into this week's episode. All right, everybody, welcome to the Cigars and Everything Else podcast, episode 8.
Number 8. Got it this time, right?
I got it, man. We on Rookie Kobe. Going number 8 this year, this episode. We appreciate everybody for tuning in as always. We should have some interesting topics set up for you today. I hope so anyway. With that being said, let me introduce my co-host, Denzel. Denzel, what's up?
What's going on?
How you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling good. Ready to get into these cigars. I got some great choices. Hit the humidor earlier this morning, and I was like a kid in a candy store today. They had some excellent choices and some new things to bring to the table, and then some old favorites I'm also bringing back. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna figure out which one we're gonna smoke today. See where we're gonna go with it.
Cool. All right, man. Well, with that being said, do you have anything you pairing, whatever you are smoking with?
Oh man, just some good old Maker's Mark. That's about it.
Maker's Mark. All right.
Maker's Mark, and I dropped a little peach Red Bull in there. You know what I'm saying? Pick my energy level up. It's a little gloomy out here today. You know what I'm saying? That Virginia weather's kind of down. So I had to get a little pick me up with my Makers.
Okay, DMV looking sad out there today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that being said, I got a Moscow Mule going. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
I got the mug with it too.
I got the mug with it too, man. It's looking nice and frosty, man. I had to go dig in the freezer and find some something to pair it with, man. So I had a whole bottle of some vodka in there, man. So I went on and whipped that out, man. And I apologize, for those who don't keep any of the alcohol in there, but that's where the vodka goes. I don't like vodka like that, so it goes in the freezer. It don't just sit out.
Put it to the back.
To the back, man. I like to forget about it. I'm not a big vodka guy,
Okay. Hey, but it works for that Moscow Mule though.
Yeah. It works for it. That's the only drink I really like is the Moscow Mule.
With the vodka goes. But even then, like if I had a choice to go with a Moscow Mule, I usually lean towards the Kentucky Mule. So I'm saying go ahead and splash some bourbon instead of the vodka. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually become one of my favorites. I fell in love with the Moscow Mule first, but when I found out they make a Kentucky Mule, I'm like, give me that.
I'm done with it.
Go ahead and make that switch. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm low on alcohol options, so I ain't had no bourbon. So that's how we ended up with that. But with that being said, the star of the show, I got, and I think this is from you. Perdomo 20th anniversary. Was this a gift from you?
I believe it was.
I'm finally getting to it.
All right, we on Perdomo today. All right, so for me, my journey in my cigar selection. First thing first, I saw one of my favorites. I know we said we were going with some all-time favorites and going back down that journey. My father's. Right now, probably my number one brand cigar, the La Opulencia. That's probably
take over.
Got me a little tongue tied on that one, right?
Because I got 20th anniversary. I had nothing fancy with
easy
mine.
To say. So with that, that's probably my top cigar right now. I think this might be my number one. Before we were searching for the Liga Privada, and I smoked the number 9. I was looking for the T52. Found the T52.
Okay.
So got my hands on the T52. So we're in there with that. So we might go with that one today. Haven't made a decision yet. And then Rocky Patel. I haven't had a Rocky in a long time. But they dropped a recent stick that I haven't seen yet. It's the first time I'm seeing it in a humidor. It's the Disciple.
Ah, okay, okay. That's
So
that's new to me too.
yeah, it's a new one. I believe it just dropped. I can't say how long ago, but very recent. So this might be something we'll take a trip down as well. At some point, I'll get to one of these cigars in the podcast. It's just a matter of which one we're gonna go with today.
Yeah, yeah. So you guys, if anything struck your ear, uh, come back in the next 3 episodes. It's a good chance one of
Yeah.
those might get pulled out. Now, it's not saying that something won't get in the mix, but it's a good chance you'll hear it in the near episodes. One of those three.
Oh, absolutely,
I'm
absolutely.
intrigued.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right.
So
Well,
you about to clip yours up?
yeah, yeah. You know, I brought my V cut, and then I realized that my torch got a punch on it, so I'm gonna go with the punch instead.
All right. Back to the
Yeah,
punch.
yeah. What kind of cut you rocking?
Speaking of for me, I'm looking for my cutter right now.
Oh Lord, I got two and you have none. Come on, man. We trying to run a show here, man. Where's your cutter at? You got to be professional, man.
I literally had two of them on me. I had my star and my cheapo.
3 cigars and no cutter.
There you go.
There we are. We in the game.
With a little hidden. Set the laptop on
Ah, okay.
it. All right, so let me take another sip of my whiskey here before we make our decision. All right. You know what I think I'm gonna go with? I think I'm gonna go with the T52 today.
Okay.
Um, just recently we had the number 9, not last episode, right? But the episode before that. I see we're going with the cigar spill again.
Here
So
we go.
since I just recently had the number 9, I think I'm gonna go with the T52 and actually see this time how does the T52 measure up to the number 9. Of course, we know that was a great smoke. You know, thorough through and through. You know, didn't lead me wrong. From what I remember, we're gonna see if the T52 does the same, or if not, better. So straight cut on it.
Traditional.
I keep saying one of these days I'm gonna you know what I'm saying, stray away from the straight cut, but
Can't go wrong with it though. Who can be mad at
I
that?
keep forgetting. I keep forgetting to grab something else. All right. So while I'm getting my cigar lit, getting it toasted, um, let's get into some topics, man.
All right, all
Um,
right.
one of the first topics I wanted to bring up, since we are talking cigars, um, and then last week we are also talking travel. We were
Right.
talking about moving around and cities that have, you know, cuisines. Um, that are they overhyped? Does it fit the bill? Now let's bring it back to cigars with the travel. You know what I'm saying? Since we did talk about how we do like to get out, we do like to travel, go different places. You know what I'm saying? Hit up Big Smoke in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? First cigar we had was in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
We've been all over the place. How so it's a two-part question. Uh how important is locality or location rather uh to the cigar experience? Do you enjoy a cigar? Can you enjoy a cigar anywhere? Or do you enjoy a cigar more in a certain area, certain environment, ambiance versus another? Just talking about um, geography right now.
Okay.
So, an LA versus Miami, smoking a stick in New York in the Big Apple versus smoking in Vegas, or having a cigar in a small town like Columbus, Georgia, or going
Yeah.
up to Atlanta, enjoying that lifestyle, that scenery, having a cigar.
For me, a cigar is great in any city, town, don't metro, suburban. It don't matter to me as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But the setting in that particular city or town is what matters the most to me.
Okay.
So if I got a nice comfortable seat, I'm with good company. I can enjoy a cigar anywhere,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But do I have areas that, of course it can make it a better environment? Yeah, sometimes if rooftop in Vegas might be better
Mm.
than on backyard and even anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's
Yeah. Yeah.
backyard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But somebody's backyard is also enjoyable as long as I got some nice comfy seating, you know what I'm saying, and we're able to relax. Maybe if the grill going, you know what I'm saying, it's all
Right.
good. But if you got me just standing up in the front yard by the road and everybody walking by, I can't enjoy that. It's like I don't even want to smoke in that environment. Like I'm not, no disrespect to weed smokers, but I'm not smoking weed. I'm not trying to get high. I'm trying to enjoy the moment. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
and I'm not smoking a cigarette where I'm trying to get a quick nicotine fix, So I need my mood is important to me with my cigar. Like I want to sit back, I want to relax. I need an hour where I'm able to cool out and have some good conversation, maybe a good drink, and I'm in a nice relaxed mood, relaxed setting,
Mhm.
regardless of if it's somewhere nice or not.
Okay. Okay. All right.
What about
I
yourself?
can respect that. I can respect that perspective. Um, with me, I think it's like you said, it's not so much the the place, the city, the state, or whatever, but more so what's in my immediate surrounding, and it varies from time to time. Um, I'm not a heavily social cigar smoker, um, so I'm not frequently in a cigar bar, cigar lounge. Typically, um, you know, in my own setting by myself, either at home or at a nice location by the river or something like that. That's where I usually like to enjoy my cigars. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but would I say that location matters? Absolutely. I mean, sometimes it's the enhancing of the experience for me. Uh, but like I said, I can enjoy it anywhere. Um,
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I've had some cigars in some of the worst humane settings that you can imagine. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
and that's what's interesting to me is because I know I couldn't do it in that condition, but for
Mm-hmm.
you, your perspective might be a little different. So for me, yes, the better the environment, like if you're at the beach or some water, even at a lake or something like that, and you just taking it in and you nice and it's enjoyable. That's a great cigar for me. I love that. But for
Mm-hmm.
you, does the cigar take you to that luxury or that nice,
You know
relaxing
what?
place, even when you in the
And
slums or the worst place possible?
and that's something that really just dawned on me. Like matter of fact, that's probably why I really enjoy smoking cigars, especially when I have to go into those situations where you know my environment and my atmosphere is not the greatest because it actually does do that for me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now looking at it, like even remembering that first cigar experience being on South Beach, having that cigar. Then by the time we at the time you were in that, well, still in Atlanta, I was in North Carolina. We take that cigar back, and we're enjoying that experience. It kind of took me back to that first cigar experience, saying smoking on South Beach, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Right.
man, I'm reliving it all again, the nostalgia of the experience, you know what I'm saying? So when I am in that situation to where, hey, look, I'm in the field, you know what I'm saying? Army life is crazy. This is not what I want to be doing at this very particular moment, you know what I'm saying? Like I need a
Right.
shower, ain't showered in like a couple of days, it's been a while. A week, 2 weeks sometimes. It takes me to that place. It's like, man, okay, everything's good. I remember where I was when I had this cigar, this tobacco flavor, this smell, everything. It just kind of just for the moment brings you back into that. It actually does. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And that makes sense to me because, in a sense, it does the same for me. Even if I'm
Mm-hmm.
just sitting outside my own house, you know what I'm saying? It puts me in a place of sometimes nostalgia of, better places that I've smoked cigars at. Not better, but you know what I'm saying? More of
Mm-hmm.
those places that you have fond memories from that you smoke cigars at. So, I
Yeah,
figured it may do that for you. But it's
yeah, it
interesting how it
does.
takes
It
you to
does. It really
places
does.
in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's almost instant. Like honestly, like I can go by a place to where somebody smokes a cigar. I'm not the one smoking a cigar, but I can smell the cigar in the air. Somebody
Yeah,
down the way, down the block is smoking a cigar, and that aroma is just kind of hitting you, and it's like, man, it takes you back already just off of just
right.
the sheer fact of that, just the aroma of it. Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, same here. Same here. A lot of times, I'll walk my dog through my neighborhood, and I got a few people that smoke in the neighborhood. I can just
Mm-hmm.
tell, I can just smell it, but I don't ever see them smoking it. But I can smell that they either recently smoked or maybe they're in the backyard smoking or something like that. But I do the same thing. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
yeah, make me want to go light one up. It
yeah.
just takes you
The
to that
vibe is in
place.
the air. The vibe is
Yeah,
in the air.
yeah, and that's something that's
Okay.
interesting, man. That we share that perspective, man. And neither one of us have discussed that, so I think that might be something that cigar aficionados have in common.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. And like I said, we smoke cigars all over the place in so many different settings. Whether it's a small town, whether it's a big city, whether it's a lounge, whether it's in the house, in the garage, what I'm saying, on the balcony, wherever. And it's like, you kind of take all those little small nuances of each experience. You kind of just ball them together, and it just every time, takes you back to
Now
something better.
you said you're not a big lounge or club smoker. I mean, you can
Yeah.
enjoy that
Oh,
environment too, though, right?
of
Just
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in given
Absolutely.
moments.
Yeah, on given moments. What I'm saying? If
Okay.
I have plans to go out to a cigar lounge or happen to stumble across one, say, I'm gonna go check out this spot. And of course, I've been to a lot of them, but when it comes down to the frequency of where I've smoked and how I smoke, it's usually in that solo setting. You know, kind of just in my own zone. You know.
Now, I said my preferred place is probably near some water, and that might have a lot to do
Mm-hmm.
because of the way we started. That was our very first initial smoke, so that could just be that nostalgia for me. What's your preferred place or
Oh, I'm
favorite
the
place?
same. I'm the same. I'm the same. Like, give me
Okay.
about some water. You know what I'm saying? The lake or river, something like that, and just let me catch that breeze and feel that vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I think that would be top. That would be top. Morning, evening, after, it don't even matter. Just something serene and peaceful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll take nature. I take nature over a lounge or club. I'll agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do enjoy the other ones too. But like you say,
Oh yeah,
it's
no,
it's
I mean
all in
absolutely. I think
it's
yeah, you have to. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's where I mean the cigar culture is like really predicated on is being able to what I'm saying, have that commonality relationship with other cigar smokers. So I mean that's definitely part of a piece of the puzzle. You know what I'm saying? That
right.
we always got to keep. You know what I'm saying? At least within arm's reach. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, which is why stuff
definitely
like
willing to
big
get out there
smoke
and
is
get to a
important.
lounge.
So I'm glad that they're keeping that going. I don't know if you looked into big
Mm-hmm.
smoke this year. They do have some restrictions, but they're here this year. So
We talking about with the vid.
yeah, 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 yeah. With that 19 roaming around, they have some different restrictions and whatnot. But
Yeah, as a
I
matter of
think they
fact, I'm trying to
limited
think.
certain
Have I
tickets,
been
and I
to?
think they got rid of the events the day before. It's only a 2 day event now. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
3 day event. They got rid of some of the
Okay,
seminars. Yeah.
okay, which makes sense. Um, well, I'm trying to think. I don't think I've been to a lounge. No, I have been to. We've been to lounge one time. Might have been once since the whole pandemic thing happened. That might have been it. At one time
Uh,
at Cutters. I
who
think that's
went? You
about
went?
it. No, me and you.
I went during the pandemic.
After the pandemic, remember we went to Cutters.
Oh
You
yeah,
don't remember?
yeah. I
I
forgot.
think that might be. I think that might be the only time that I've been to a lounge since. Man,
We did go. We did go. Yeah. And it wasn't too crazy in there. It wasn't too crazy. It
It
was
wasn't.
spread
It
out. They had
wasn't.
like a little band playing live music and whatnot. And you were able to get
Hmm.
you some seats away from
Yeah.
the
No.
stage.
Yeah. No crazy restrictions, or anything like that. I mean, everything was about comfortable about time everything opened back up.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that might be something I might need to do. Add to my list to check off to hit a spot because I haven't been since that one time. I haven't been to any spot.
Yeah, and I'm sure once you enter, you'll get a vibe if it's for you or not, and you'll say, okay, I'm just going to your
Hmm.
humor or leaving, or either you can go in and
Yeah.
actually enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So that's one thing I'm wondering if widespread, if things have kind of changed with how we're able to interact in a cigar lounge. Like, is it just free like it was before, to where everybody can interact and say you can move and go as you please in the humidor, out the humidor, this and that. I wonder if the experience is as enjoyable as it was before. Like I said, we didn't have any problems the last time we went. But
Yeah, but
widespread, I
once
wonder.
again,
I wonder how things are.
it wasn't it wasn't crowded though at the
It
location we
wasn't.
went to. It was
Hmm.
it was people in there, but it was not to the point where everybody's trying to get in the humidor. So I wonder what it would be like
Yeah.
in one of the smaller places where it I don't know, maybe they limit the amount of people that can come in to prevent it from being a situation where you have to keep track of who's in the humidor or not. They didn't have to
Right.
necessarily keep track of it with us because it was
Yeah, because I
probably
think
us
things
two
had
in
just
there
opened up.
along with the worker there at the time. So
Right. Yeah, I think things had just opened back up, so people were still kind of, you know, hesitant to really get out. But now here, at least I know here, people are just out there. Well, I know in Atlanta, and people been out.
yeah, people out, no masking out. So yeah,
Yeah, man. So I got to get that off. I'm saying check that one off the list. Get around to some more spots. See how people are actually, I'm saying, getting together like they were before. So I'll tell you that is one huge piece of the culture.
yeah. I don't think the cultures will allow it to go away. To be honest with you, because it's too
Hmm.
important to the cigar culture. It's too much of a brotherhood. Even in some of the names you see, with people refer to each other on like Instagram is brother of the leaf, sister of the leaf. So it just lets you know that we are really connected in the social part of it. So
Yeah.
before they get to the point where they don't let people interact, man, in a cigar lounge, they'll just limit the amount of people that can come in to keep that piece of the culture. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Before it gets to that, before it completely shut down, yeah. Like, hey, look, we have to preserve this. That's what it seems like to me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, man. So where you at with your cigar, man? How's that Padermo going?
I like it, man. It's pretty smooth and creamy so far, man.
Okay. Okay.
It's some. I was sitting here trying to place in my mind what I was noticing, what note it was I was noticing on it, but I'm gonna smoke a little longer, and when it comes to me, I'll speak on it then. But it's something
Okay.
else that's standing out to me. But so far, this first third is very smooth, man. Got a creaminess to it.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe a
And I
little
think that's what.
woodiness also is what I'm noticing in the beginning. Also,
Yeah, I think
just a little bit.
that's what I got from that last Padermo that I smoked, and um, man, kind of made me feel a little guilty for how I initially tried to judge him.
You
Because
treat
we
them
got some
bad.
consistency. I treat him better off jump. Very
Was
very
that was
unfair to
based
the.
off the champagne?
That was based off. I think I had. I'm trying to think back. I think I had two of them. One was the champagne, was not what I was looking for,
I
and I
didn't
believe
enjoy
I had
that either,
another
though.
one. I think I had one like, yeah, of course I had one like the one you had, because I got those in the pack and gifted you a couple of those. Um, and it wasn't what I was looking for either.
Really,
Yeah,
I don't mind
and
this. This is
it could have been it could have been an error on my part. Maybe I scorched it when I was toasting it. Maybe I didn't keep it in the humidor correctly. Saying? Our
big
human
possibility.
factor, yeah, human error, user error or whatever, could have definitely played a part. Like I said, the last Perdomo I smoked definitely picked them up a notch. Definitely wasn't on the bottom shelf as I put them in my head.
You know, that's a good point that you bring up. I wonder how often people talk bad about different cigars and it's their fault that the cigar is not enjoyable.
Mm,
Like, how many cigars are really bad cigars and how many is human error? You scorched it, you used a regular lighter at the house, you
yeah.
didn't keep your humidity levels correct, therefore the
Or
conditions of
maybe it
are
was not kept good in the at the
in the
cigar
humidor.
shop. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like
it's
maybe the
possible that
cigar
too.
shop, the place you picked it up from, didn't treat their humidor as well as they should have.
Yeah,
You know,
human error at the cigar shop.
it's 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 way too many factors on the way that it gets to you actually taking that first puff that can cause a cigar to not keep its integrity all the way through the process of getting into your hand to your lighter to that first puff.
Right.
You know,
Because you can actually examine it and tell if it's pretty well constructed, the actual
mm-hmm.
cigar itself. You know what I'm saying? You can get an idea of that. So from there, either it's just bad choices of tobacco leaves that by the actual, brand, or either
Yeah.
it's human
No, no,
error.
no.
It's one or the
And
other.
and, and, and and don't get me wrong, there's definitely a lot of those. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
had
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
cigars that are just
Everybody, every taste
consistently
ain't
like,
gonna
hey,
be for
look,
you.
your choice of tobacco, like, hey, whatever tobacco fields you you get your supply from, scrap
Yeah, go
that.
find another one.
Find a new place. Yeah, find a new spot. But yeah, so but at the same time, a lot of brands are probably getting unfair shake just by that human error. You know, I never even considered that until this whole Perdomo journey that we took. You know, going from my first couple of sticks with them to the one I smoked on this podcast, the one you're smoking now. It's like, man, I'm really feeling bad.
Yeah. See, that's the thing though. That's interesting about it though. This is the unfair thing for the cigar culture versus something like food. You know what I'm saying? It's a different. The
Mm-hmm.
shelf life ain't the same. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a way to make it survive, but in order to make it survive, it's all on the person. Versus food at the store, it's preservatives within it. It's gonna last
Right,
automatically regardless of what
right.
you do, unless you just leave it in the sun. You know what I'm saying? But with a cigar,
Yeah. Like unless you completely
they're
treat it bad.
trusting the people not to mess it up. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're trusting the
Right.
shops not to mess it up. They're trusting the customers not to mess it up.
And
And
then at the
then
same
your
time, there's not
opinion
as
is
many
flawed
regulations
based on
along the way.
you.
True,
You say what?
true. I'm saying, and then at the same time, there's not as much regulation as there is on food. Food, you're making sure temperatures are staying at a certain place when you're delivering, and then by the
Mhm.
time it gets to the shelves to be stocked and all that stuff, I don't, I don't know, but I highly doubt that there's checks and steps along the way as it gets to the, what I'm saying, cigar
Yeah.
shops and then into your hands.
From
You
the
know what I'm saying?
airplane over to the manufacturer, from the manufacturer to some truck, you know what I'm saying? And to the
Like,
delivery people.
are they really? You say, are they really coming off? Hey, what humidity level was this at? It's you know what I'm saying, before it comes off that freight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Highly doubt that.
It's gonna be
Maybe I'm
days
wrong.
in travel in some way. I would imagine there's days in commute before it's actually where it needs to
Mm-hmm.
go. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of man, days can mess up your cigar if not done properly.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I mean, I think that's where we're at. I might have to go back and revisit yet another Perdomo just to be sure.
Hold off on the Perdomo. We're gonna say Perdomo's cool. Go revisit Gurkha.
I'm gonna just pause real quick on that
Yeah, y'all felt that? Y'all felt that
one.
right there in the silence? I'm sure that came across.
The air got thick real quick. The air got real thick just for a moment.
Hey
Oh no,
man,
I
let's
don't know if
give
I'm
Gurkha
willing.
a
I don't know
shot.
if I'm willing to do that. All right, let's give Gurkha a shot. We might lose some views and some you know by doing it, but hey, let's do it.
I got a Gurkha in the humidor. When I
You
was
have a
looking
you
for
have a
what I was
Gurkha in
gonna
the
smoke
humidor.
today. Yeah, I don't know which one it
You,
was. I was looking for something to smoke today. My gut told me to go with this Perdomo, but
okay?
if we're gonna do a Gurkha episode, we do a Gurkha episode. Now mine might not be fair because y'all already know I'm not fantastic with my humidor, even though it's where it needs to be. the past 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
that Gurkha, might be in limbo. But I'll give it a shot if that's what we're doing.
All right, let's plan a Gurkha episode.
All
To be
right,
determined.
we'll see. To be determined. And with that being said, I really want to know how Gurkha is respected, because Gurkha don't, even when we post Gurkha on our Instagram, it don't really
It doesn't do well.
people ain't really feeling
It
it
doesn't
like
do
that.
well.
Like,
It does not do well. Like, and matter of fact, when I was at the cigar shop today. Lo and behold, I'm looking through the shelves. I look at the bottom shelf. It's one box of Gurkha on the bottom shelf, tucked to the side. Not even in a good display spot. No respect. No respect. One box of Gurkha, bottom shelf, off to the side.
Why y'all do Gurkha like that? See, this is the thing. Now, we talked about Alex not getting no love out there. Alec Bradley not getting no love out there, and Gurkha getting treated worse than Alec.
Yeah.
What are we doing in the community, guys? What is up?
And I mean, and here's the thing: like, it's all cigar culture, all cigar love, right? Mm-hmm. So, what can we do to uplift the brand? You know what I'm saying? For a brand that needs uplifting. I mean, unless you just completely disrespecting the cigar culture, doesn't everybody deserve a fair shake?
They do.
Like, had they ruined the reputation that bad to that at that consistent of a level?
I'm wondering. We might have to go take one of those flights, man, to South America, pick out some leaves with Gurkha and get them together. I don't know.
Yeah, let's look. Hey, let's
Central America, wherever they get their leaves from.
And then we're not taking shots at Gurkha. We just understand where, what it appears that it looks like the culture is showing us with Gurkha. We've posted them. We've I've had a Gurkha cigar before. I'm pretty sure you have as well.
Yeah, we own Gurkha. Like I got it in the humidor now. Like
I've had cigars worse. That doesn't get as bad a treatment as they do. So
I mean, it's
I can definitely say I've had big cigars
cigar, but yeah, it's one thing if you're not one of the big boys, but Gurkha's got a name in the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's just weird to see it, but we're gonna have a Gurkha episode.
We'll do a Gurkha episode. To be determined. Yeah. Well, I'll hit the humidor. I'll pick up one. Matter of fact, I'll do my best research to find out what their top rated cigar is, and I don't mind starting from the top.
There we go. Now that top rated cigar gonna have some power on it though, so that's also you're gonna have to pick out the top rated one that fits your preference, because that top, usually they rate the more full body ones with those higher ratings and whatnot, and that ain't really your style. So I don't want you to have
by that. No, top rated of that medium body. I'll do the proper research to make sure I find the right one for myself that's as high as possible on their rating scheme.
There we go.
We'll make sure we do that. Like I said, it's like taking a car for a test drive, and it's like, hey, well, you drove the lowest end brand of this vehicle. How can you truly judge, whether this vehicle is one of the top notch vehicles, of them all, but you drove the lowest one. Got to drive that flagship. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to drive that flagship just to give them a fair shake. So that's what we're going to do with Gurkha. We're going to test out one of their flagship cigars, one of their top notch in that medium body range, and give them its fair shake, man. Let's do it one time for Gurkha. One time for some boys in the cigar culture. You know what I'm saying? We owe them that much at least, right?
Yeah, we do. So I won't say nothing else bad about Gurkha until we do it. And if they end up with like a 2 on our ratings from 1 to 5, then we will continue.
There it
I'm
is.
sorry. If any representative from Gurkha sees this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? We just fans of the
Hey,
game.
look, like I said, we're not taking no digs at anybody. We're just going off what we've seen the people say, and we got to keep it
And our
honest. And
own
that's what we want.
experience with the cigar.
Yeah, and then our own experience. So we want to give it, you know what I'm saying, proper treatment. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We can't be unfair with the treatment just because we see what people are saying or what opinions are, especially as we just talked about human error. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Your cigar might be better than we think it is. But from our experiences, we just speaking on that. And that's what we stand with it as of today. But we're going to get
mm-hmm.
Gurkha a fair shot. Maybe I'll go buy a new Gurkha also, just to make sure. Instead of smoking that one that I
Just to
got
make sure.
way in the
Just to
stash.
make sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Or how
Hey,
about
look,
this?
we're
How
gonna
about
hold you
this?
to it.
You want to smoke the same cigar? See if we had the same point of view. You know, we smoke it. We both be like, all right, we experiencing the same thing throughout it. That way, we can definitely make sure that it's not user error because we should both be having a similar experience, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
both be having a flagship cigar.
That sounds like perfect plan.
All right.
Here's what we're
Now,
gonna go with.
Gurkha, if your flagship is $100 cigar, I probably won't be smoking it. I'm not willing to go over 20 on your cigar, Gurkha. Just putting that out there also. One of your good ones under 20
Disclaimer:
and under.
20 and under. There we
Disclaimer.
go.
Yeah.
Hey, look. So we're on that. We in agreement with that one.
Right.
All
Now,
right.
with that being said, I touched on mine. What's your experience like with your cigar?
Oh man, T52.
Yeah.
It's everything I thought it was gonna be.
Okay.
Everything that I thought it was gonna be. Everything that I remembered it to be. Is it edging out the number 9 so far?
Okay.
Yes, sir. I have to say it's edging out the number 9. This thing right here, man. If you see my burn, looking pretty decent, especially if you know me and my burns. Come on
Yeah.
now.
I ain't mad at you.
It the draw is smooth. Everything has been smooth since first light. There you go. You always top
Yeah.
notch with yours.
Look at that
Always
burn
top
body.
notch with yours.
Look at that
But
ash.
nice draw. Yeah, man. So always smooth. Of course, very little pepper. A lot of woody note. A little slight hint of, you know what I'm saying, cocoa. It's very slight, mainly earthy and woody. Um, just moving from the first light, first puff, man. And that's what drew me to the T52 in the beginning. A lot of good flavor, just a lot of good tobacco flavor.
Okay.
You know, when I heard one cigar smoker say, "Man, I don't smoke cigars for the flavor. You know, I smoke it for the experience, for the vibe, for the, you know what I'm saying, because some cigars just don't just, you know, it's an acquired taste, right? For
Yeah.
some cigars. But then you do have a set of cigars that, especially once you do have that acquired taste, you do go to that cigar for the taste. You know what I'm saying? Not talking about a flavor cigar, but just a traditional, genuine, good tobacco cigar. And I think T52 is one of those that you go for the taste.
You know, that's interesting that someone would say that. I don't relate to that though, because to me that
Mm-hmm.
sounds like the same conversation that people say about beer. They're like, you know, you don't drink beer
Yeah,
for the taste, but I gotta, I have to enjoy it too, though. Like, you know what I'm
enjoy
saying?
it to
Like,
some degree,
so
right?
when people
Yeah,
say beer is an acquired taste, once you acquire the taste, you still have to have a preference for which beer you enjoy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and it's the same thing with a
yeah.
cigar. How do you not pick a cigar based on the flavor a little bit? Like now, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like every cigar I've researched before I buy it and I know what I'm getting into. Sometimes it's just a matter of luck, or you just trying random cigars out to see what's out there. I'm an experimenter with my cigars, but
Hmm.
once I try it, I know if it's the stuff that I'm into or not. Same
Yeah,
way with even with beer, since I use that as an example. I might go grab a random beer from the store, but it doesn't mean that I've had it before. I don't even know what to expect when I try it. But
right.
once I try it, I'm like, okay, either this one's gonna get drank up or this one's gonna sit in the fridge for a long time because I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? But you you got to enjoy it. So
You gotta
I don't
enjoy it
relate to that.
to a degree. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I'm not, like I said, there's some cigars that just don't have a good taste. And if you just smoke a cigar for the experience, that's the ones you want to go to. But like I said, today when I went to the humidor and I saw some of the choices they had available, I was like a kid at the candy store. You know, my eyes lit up. I saw the T52. My eyes lit up. I saw my father's. My eyes lit up. I'm like, man, they got the ones I like. You know, they got everything in here that I want. I go to some humidors and it's like, I'll go with this one.
Was this a,
I'm not grabbing it for the flavor. I'm grabbing it for the experience. You know.
was it a new shop?
Oh yes, another shop I haven't been to. It's still an old Virginia. It's I guess a chain shop out here in Virginia. I went to other a couple other old Virginias, but this one happened to be one closer to DC. Um, and spot I haven't been to yet might make me frequent it again. You know.
I got a shop. It's probably about a mile away from here where I live at, and it was the
Mm-hmm.
first shop I actually saw in the area. I never been to it, and I forget
Okay.
about it. I drive by it so much because it's kind of hidden in this plaza, and I rode by it earlier this week and remembered it, and I was like, man, I gotta go into that shop. I gotta
Oh, and
remember that
yeah,
shop to not go to my usual one to make sure that I go get something
yeah,
and see what they got. I'm hoping
yeah.
they got some gems in there because my usual seems to be slacking a little bit. You know, I'm not gonna name drop them, but
Wow.
y'all slacking a little bit, and
It's like a
I'm
little
not
bit.
liking the selection. It be looking a little skim some days. So I'm gonna have to see
Mhm.
if that new shop can have me glowing like you.
Well, I'll tell you this. From my experiences in cigar shops, don't be afraid to let the shop workers, owners, whoever know what cigars you're looking for. You know, when I was in El Paso, I used to I had two cigar shops I would go to. One was the one that was closest to the house. Another one was 30, 40 minutes away, but it was my favorite one. So sometimes I skip the one that's 5 minutes from the house just to go 30, 40 minutes away, just to go to that cigar shop because that one just had everything I knew I could want. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I would go there. That was my favorite cigar shop to go to. And I bypassed the one that was closer. So one day I went in there and said, you know what? I wanted the Oliva V series, right? They didn't have that in there. And I told them, hey, have y'all heard about this cigar? Da, 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 da. And you know, the guy was receptive to it. And he said, you know what? Yeah, I've heard of it before. I think it was the start with M Milano series. Um, and he added it to his humidor. He got it. I went back maybe 3, 4 days later, once it came in, and I'll tell you that box was almost gone. He was like, man,
Oh yeah.
it's so quick. Yeah, so it ended up being a great suggestion from me to him to say, hey, look, this is a cigar I'm looking for. Y'all don't have it. The other spot is 40 minutes away. I don't feel like driving over there. Think y'all can get it? And he got it. And ever since then, they carried it.
That's
Ever
good
since then,
business.
they carried it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I hadn't considered that, but yeah, that is something I should definitely do. And that's good information for anybody listening also to keep that in mind, man, because shops is just run by other aficionados. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they might be
Mm-hmm.
familiar with stuff, but they don't necessarily know all that they customer base want to smoke. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
just know the go tos in the culture. So that's something to
Right.
keep in mind, man. That's good
Yeah.
information.
They might have their preferences of what they want. They might have what they know, what people frequent a lot. But then there might be some gems out there that people are really clamoring for that they don't have, and they don't know it until the people bring it to them. You know, so don't go
Right.
into a shop and leave and like, this shop ain't got what I want. Don't bring it to their attention so they can go ahead and get it. Put the leg
Right.
up.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a place that's convenient to you.
Right. That's a great point. That's a great point. Not my shop situation. They know that they shelves is empty. You know, I'm
And they
talking
know
about. Yeah, I'm not talking about I can't find specific cigars. I mean, like they just got gaps on the shelf, like in certain places, like that. I don't even want to post it in our stories that I'm in the humidor because I got to show off all
you
the
got a box
prices and
right
stuff.
here, and then you got a box all the way over here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they need to get it together. But yeah,
Man.
your point, yes, that is a great idea. That is a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah.
So,
So,
look, I got
hmm?
a subject for you. I'm gonna change gears a little bit for you.
You
Tonight
got for
is what is the day? Today is the 9th? Is today October
it's the
9th?
9th, October 9th.
Today's October 9th. All right, for the fight fans, you know we always get into fights. Most of the time it's mixed martial arts. Tonight is boxing. We got a
Yeah,
big fight, heavyweight championship of the world, the WBC title, Tyson Fury
going down.
versus
It is going
Deontay
down.
Wilder. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
it's the
Can't
trilogy
wait
match,
for it.
fight number 3. Now, with that being said, me personally, before big fights, I get nerves. Even if I don't have a horse in the race, sometimes I get nerves. You know what I'm saying? When it's a big fight.
Hmm.
Um, do you ever find yourself like with a little nerves before a big fight or something like that?
And I'm just watching the fight.
Yeah, you just watching. You're not. And,
Not
okay.
in the
Denzel's
fight. I don't have.
background is
I don't.
Denzel's a mixed martial artist who fights in tournaments or has done a lot of fighting in tournaments throughout his lifetime.
Has,
So
yeah.
your
I've
perspective
been out
is
the game
different
for a
from
minute.
mine. Yeah,
Hmm.
but still having that background and knowing what that feels like having a big fight day for yourself. You know, do you get nerves on fight day watching as a fan, or as a fan, you know, you're too close to the fight game to feel that way. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
As a fan, not as a
From my
fighter.
perspective, I don't. I have no nerves. Whether I have a horse in the fight or not. For me, it's being on the outside looking in. I get more analytical than anything, and by being analytical, it doesn't allow me to have any nerves for a fight. You know, because you're coming in seeing. I mean, like you're too busy being occupied with picking the fight apart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Oh man, this guy his feet are too flat. He's not fluid enough. He's showing too much. He's telling too much. You know, I mean, you start getting to all those things, all the technicalities of it. You know, you put yourself in the fight. You know, and that's the one time when you do put yourself into a fight where you can afford not to be nervous. So why be nervous? Why have nerves? Because when you do get into a fight and you do have a bout in front of you, a match in front of you, those nerves are real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But once you're on the other side and you're able to see from the outside looking in, you know, it's just an opportunity for one for you to think, what would I have? What would I be doing? You know, you get more, like I said, analytical. You're analyzing things a whole lot more, so you don't have the room. From my standpoint, I can't speak for every fighter that looks on the outside looking in. You have more room to put yourself into the fight without the risk, you know, and
Right.
just be able to analyze. It's like I guess a football player watching film, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
of their sport, and then they're watching how another team responds, or they're watching film on what they did. You know, I'm pretty sure when they get into those film rooms, um, and they're studying other teams, there's probably no nerves there, from what I would guess. Um, Maybe some when they're watching themselves, but you know, not watching somebody else because you're too busy thinking analytically. You know what I mean?
Okay, so now I this has always been my assumption for fighters, and it may be different now that I got somebody in front of me that I can ask. I'll ask you this. Now, I believe that fighters are built a little differently. A fight
Mm-hmm.
for them is no different than a football player getting ready to go play football, a basketball player getting ready to go play a basketball game. Like you're gonna have a little bit of nerves just because the event you have an event that you want to do good that's coming up, but
Mm-hmm.
do you guys really look at it like, okay, I'm going to fight, or do you look at it like I'm going to go perform, like just like a sporting event? Because what I can relate to is before like a basketball game, you may have a little bit of nerves, but the moment you step on the court, that goes away. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't
Mm-hmm.
have a second to think about. Like
Oh
it's
yeah,
over. The
that
nerves
goes
is
out the
gone.
window.
The nerves is when you in the
The nerve,
back.
the
It's
nerve,
there when you out there.
the nerves is gone. I would say for me, I'm nervous all the way up until the point that I step onto that mat and they say fight. You
Nerves
know what I'm
go away at
saying?
that point, right?
At
Yeah.
that point, it's gone. You know, and it's just, hey, it's time to perform. It's time to, you know what I'm saying, study my opponent. Now you get occupied with that. Now you have data, and that might be why me watching another person fight and that whole analytical standpoint kicks my nerves out because even while I'm fighting, you're collecting data. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you get to that point. Okay, I have to know what I'm doing, focus on what it is, how I'm performing, and now I'm collecting data from my opponent, what they're doing, so that I could properly respond. So those nerves, there's no room for it.
Right.
And like I said, like back in my day, I was nervous up until the point they said fight. Then after I heard fight, it's everything just drops. It's no more nerves from that point forward.
So you such a science. You so into the science of the actual sport that it's hard for you to look at it like, I don't know, it's hard for you to get into that place where you actually would have any type of nerves for it. Okay, so what about your team? You know what I'm saying? Your team's in the championship. Is there any nerves before the game for that?
Oh yeah, we're talking about another sport other than fighting. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Okay. Because at that
nerves.
Yeah, because at that point I'm not analytical because
okay.
You saying I love basketball.
You relate to what I'm
football.
saying. Then you just don't relate.
Yeah. I can't relate it to fighting. I can't relate it to fighting. But of course, man. Like basketball games, especially when my team was killing it, Pistons. You know what I'm saying? I don't get nervous with my Lions because it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
It is what it is.
But but when my team when the Pistons was, you know what I'm saying, on top of the game and they was killing it, Eastern Conference Finals, year after year after year, Finals championship. Of course, man, you get nervous every game. It's like, man, because that's your horse in the race. So and you want them to perform how you will want them to perform, but then at the same time, it's not my sport. So the analytical mindset is not as high. Even though I know the game of basketball, I know the game of football, I know the ins and outs, but my analytical acumen is not as high as it is with fighting.
Understood.
But still, in the same fashion, for this fight later tonight, I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. Do I want my outcome to be what I want my outcome to be? Which I'm not going to state unless you want me to expound on that.
We don't have to get into the outcomes because the show gets posted on Monday. The outcome,
outcome will already be known.
There's no excitement for people to know what our predictions were. So,
yeah, but I mean,
you have to get an outcome. But I mean, if you want to speak on what you want to happen, that's one thing, But we'll see.
Oh, I say I want to see Wilder get the dub. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be money by the time everybody get the podcast, but I want to see Wilder get the dub.
I like to see a knockout from Wilder also. I believe he made some good changes in his camp. We're gonna see if he's able to pull them off. I am a believer that the last fight had some weird stuff going on with the gloves. So
yeah, it was
tonight will prove if that's true or not.
That is true. It's true.
Yeah. I think I checked the weigh-in yesterday. Both guys came in at the heaviest they ever came in their career, which tells me that they both looking for the knockout. It ain't going 12. Fury put on some more what he did last fight, and he wants to be able to take a shot. And Wilder put on some weight to be able to get him off of him. So,
but I was going to ask about Fury though, since you said you saw the weigh-in, or at least the numbers for the weigh-in. Is Fury looking like a healthier heavy?
Who knows? He kept all his clothes on. He came out in boots, a cowboy hat, pants, coat, all that. So that's part of him being heavier. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he wants the perception that he's heavier or if he's legitimately heavier or not. You know what I'm saying? It's still a lot in question. I don't know what's going to happen in this fight. You know what I'm saying? Like I believe
it's a whole lot of uncertainty.
Manipulated from what I saw his knuckles in the glove, and that don't look right. But I don't know if that don't mean that boy can't fight. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean that he
Yeah,
still
yeah,
might
yeah,
not be
yeah.
able to pull off what he did even with regular gloves. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, it don't mean like
I
he
don't
ain't got
think
no power in his punch. It's possible. Um,
it's possible.
you know what I'm saying? Like he wouldn't be at this level of in his career anyway if he wasn't a formidable opponent. So it's either way it goes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's
You
280
can't
regardless, and he can move and box
regardless.
regardless of
Regardless,
what
yeah.
you say about him cheating. Like that, he's still legit. Ain't nobody else doing nothing to him. Ain't nobody else stopping him. You know what I'm saying? It's either Wilder
Truth.
or either Fury's the man. You know what I'm saying? It's one or the other. So
Yeah.
you know, I want to see them belts come back to the states though. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Got to rep for the home team one time for the home team.
Yeah, man, get him out of there. You know, but we'll see. I think he'll. Uh, I think if it's a shootout, you got to take the guy with the AR-50.
Mm,
You know, and it sounds like it's gonna be a shootout. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But they're gonna be throwing
I
some
don't know.
blows, man. They're gonna be throwing
They
some
throwing
blows.
leather tonight. You know, you didn't come out. They didn't come out heavy, thinking they were going 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? You come out
Yeah.
light if you're trying to go. If you're trying to go the distance, you come out heavy when you know, hey, look, man, we're getting straight to business here. This can't go long because I don't have the wind for it to go long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it does go long, that favors Wilder. If it does go the distance, in my opinion, just because
You
I
think
don't.
so?
Fury got good stamina, man, for a big boy. He carry his weight
He
good, but
did. He
I
did.
don't know that.
Because
I
we
don't
seen him get
know.
knocked down and
I
get
don't know if
back up
that's
and
enough.
and keep swinging. You know.
Yeah, but
So
he was 20 like 25 pounds lighter then. You know what I'm saying?
mhm. And it does
And the
it
fact that
does
he
make a
went
difference.
down and the fact he went down in the 12th like that lets you know Wilder's power at any point. He shut you off. You know what I'm saying? 12th
Yeah.
round, 2 minutes left in the fight. I shut your lights out. You know what I'm saying? You still go to
Yeah.
sleep. And Fury admitted himself he was boxing, and then the ref was like 6, 7, and he was like, "Oh snap, I'm on the ground," and that's when he got
Right.
up.
And I can definitely speak to that.
You been there before?
I've been there before. Hey, look, I'm not one of those fighters or old fighters that say, "Hey, look, I ain't never been on the ground before." Nah, I've been put on my back before. I know what it feels like.
To be fighting, and then
I know
next
what
thing
it
you
feels
know,
like.
you like, I'm on. Where am I at? I'm on the ground. Like, let me get up.
Yeah, somebody trying to pick me up. I'm like, I was just up. How am I dead? Like,
Yeah,
how did I get here? You know, it's like one of those like in the movies or whatever, one of those skits where they say, you know what I'm saying, they got the little freeze frame. Let me tell you how I got here. You know,
right. One of those moments.
that was me. Yeah, one of those moments. Freeze frame as they pick me up. Like, let me explain how I got here.
Right. Well, man, but that's the interesting part of the fight, man. Is it can go either way. Fury
Mm-hmm.
tough, like you said, 12th round, he took a big shot, still got up, came back. A lot of people say he won the second half of that round after getting knocked down. Like that lets you know that boy tough. You know what I'm saying? Because he admitted
Yeah.
his lights was shut out. He said he don't remember nothing up until the number 6. So that lets
Mm-hmm.
you know he was unconscious and came back and quickly recovered. His recovery time is good. You know what I'm saying? And that
Yeah.
lets you know Wilder can shut your lights out in a blink of an eye in the 12th round. So
So like,
those two
with
clash perfectly. Like,
yeah, and with it being a trilogy, man, that's more that's tossed in the air, man. So
yeah, a lot of
this is
people
this
wouldn't feel
this
that
is
way
the
because
one.
of how the second fight played out, but I think it's still a toss up,
Yeah,
man. Because I don't think that
yeah,
Fury can pull it off
it's
twice.
still a toss up. So I mean, because like it's so much um in it because even with the first fight, you know, they still felt some people still felt that Fury should have won that, right? And then with the second fight, there's so much uncertainty as of what actually happened throughout the fight. So now this, if there's no funny business and if it's clear cut one way or the other, this is going to be the tell all. And I think that's why
It
it's
is
so much
tough.
at stake with the trilogy. You know what I'm saying? So like this trilogy more so than any other trilogy that we've seen in in the history of boxing has probably the most telltale than any other trilogy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
this would be more
It's
decisive than any other one.
That's the crazy part about it, because the internet went and dissected the first two fights and said his gloves was messed up in both of them. So that puts
Mm-hmm.
question marks on both fights. You know what I'm saying? So
Both
like
fights,
now
yeah.
we us as fans, we don't know what to believe. We don't know if it's legit or if it was, really some bull. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
and even in the first fight, the draw, and like you said, a lot of people thought Fury won. I didn't watch the first fight for I watched the first fight for the first time probably like a month before the second fight. I didn't catch it.
Really?
I didn't
Okay.
catch it.
Okay.
So they didn't post it online for a long time. So when it finally got posted, I went back and watched the first fight. And I said, "Wow, the won the first fight. What was all this talk about Fury won?" And I'll say he won the first fight because they didn't do nothing the first 5 rounds. Neither one of them. Wilder was the only
Mm-hmm.
one active in the first 5 rounds. So I gave Wilder like
You had to give him
3
those
of the
rounds.
first 5 rounds. I gave
Yeah,
him
you had
3
to
of the
give him
first
those
five
rounds.
rounds. Yeah. So what happened is he had 3 of those plus the 2 knockdown rounds that he won. Each knockdown round is worth 2 points. That's 7-5. I went 7-5 for Wilder. So I thought he won the
Mm-hmm.
first fight. And I saw an interview where the ref was talking about how he woke Tyson up. And he said, I woke him up just because he was a former champ, and I felt like he deserved the opportunity to finish the fight on his feet because he was that close to the end. He said, but I didn't think it was going to make a difference in the fight because I thought Wilder was winning the fight anyway. So the ref thought
Mm-hmm.
Wilder won, and he said he only woke him up just because he made it so close to the end. He was like, man, forget it. I'll help him out, man. It ain't going to change the outcome. Wilder won. And then it ended up
Mm-hmm.
being a draw. And in the second fight, regardless of what anybody thinks, it was a decisive stoppage for Fury. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's interesting, man. It's interesting. I think, like you said, this trilogy is going to be very telling of the truth, And I don't.
Yeah.
I hope. Hopefully, it's clear this time. I don't want a forfeit out of them. I want it to be done. You know what I'm saying?
Be done. Yeah. Be done. Be done. Clear and concise. Right. Yeah. We definitely agree on that point. Definitely agree on those points.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, man, I'm telling you, this Liga hanging in there. We talking about we're about an hour in this smoke, and I'm just getting through my first third.
Yeah.
And I say that's everything you want out of the smoke right there.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I'm just starting my second third here. Yeah, so I'm a little bit ahead of you on that, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm still enjoying it, man. I feel like it's starting to ramp up a little bit on this initial part of the second third.
Okay.
I don't really have
Picking up some more flavors.
quite yet. Yeah. I feel it's starting to get a little more intricate. You know what I'm saying? A little more detailed, anyway.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, man. So we in here. That's where we at. We got the fight tonight. Enjoying some cigars and some nice scenery. For me, you know what I'm saying? So we where we at? Ready to try these Gurkhas?
I am, man. I am. Now, you had something else you wanted to speak on this episode, right?
I did. Um I was thinking earlier to not today, but the other day, um, going back through history of hip hop and wondering if crews and rap crews. Because we had the discussion prior to the verses with Jadakiss and not Jadakiss, but the Locks and Dipset. And my argument to you was, man, Locks is a group, Dipset is a crew. And then when Dipset was hot, Dipset was a crew within a crew. And thinking of now, and I might be a little out of touch with how hip hop is going now, but and maybe you can fill me on. Cause I feel like you're probably closer to the hip hop culture right now than I am right now. Maybe I don't know. I'm out of touch with the youth right now. But I can't think of any hip hop crews right now. Can you think of like are there any hip hop crews? And with crews in hip hop, are they as important as they used to be back when you had Rockefeller? You had MMG as a crew. You had Cash Money was a crew. You had No Limit that was a crew, and the crews were making movements, and people go solo, and it push the crew forward, and the crew will push the artist forward. I don't see that in the rap game as much as I know J. Cole has like Dreamville and stuff like that, but it doesn't resonate the same with me. And I can't think of any other crews. You know what I'm saying? You had Death Row record label, but still kind of a crew. Bad Boy record label, but still kind of a crew. Um, where are we at with that?
I'm with you. I don't think there are any crews currently in the game. I don't see no crews out there. You named the only one that you possibly could name, which is J. Cole and what he got going on with what is it? Cole what is it? What is
Dreamville.
somethingville? Dreamville, yeah,
Dreamville.
Dreamville. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know of any crews, man, and I don't think that like I don't think it's important.
It's not important anymore.
That used to be the way that you could get a name for yourself. So if you wanted to get your label off the ground, you come out with a crew. You know what I'm saying? Think what Ross did. Probably the most recent person to do it is Ross and what he did with MMG. He built a crew and got all his solo acts off. You know what I'm saying? Through the crew.
Yeah.
That ain't. I don't see that since then. Ross did it around the same time Kanye was doing it with the Good Music crew. And, you know, he had
Right.
a lot of people. He had Common, he had Big Sean, he had Two Chains. He had his crew. You know what I'm saying? But
But since
where's it
then,
at now? You know what I'm saying? It don't
where's it at
It's not a
now?
way to put people
Because
on.
like because from the era that we grew up in, and I'm speaking more so for myself. I'll let you chime in on it if you would like to. But I just remember as we grew up, you kind of took identity with a crew. Being a
Right.
hip hop fan. Like if you were G Unit, you was a G Unit fan, you roll with their crew. You know what I'm saying? People wore the shirts. G Unit, you know what I'm saying? They was
Yeah.
Lloyd Banks and 50 and all of this and Game when he was part of the crew. And like you rep that crew. And then that crew pushed their fan base. And that fan base was like their family. You know what I'm saying? And if you was Dipset, you can tell people who was Dipset fans, and they was you was wearing a Rockaware, and you was a Rockefeller. You know what I'm saying? You was rocking with the crew, state property. You know what I'm saying? Crew within the crew, and it's like
Yeah.
you had those crews, and it was necessary back then to have that identity and to have your fans identify with you with that crew to push the music forward. Like I don't
Right.
even see it. Like, dude, like who are the kids identifying themselves with on the hip hop side? With the crews, like we saw movements. You saying we had the long t-shirts, you know what I'm saying? And you just knew what that you saying what we was representing, or like No Limit, people's body. You know what I'm saying? Like it
No
was
Limit.
that.
Speaking of them, No Limit probably did the crew thing the best out of anybody.
Mm,
No Limit. I'm gonna have to say No
think
Limit did
so.
the crew thing. Look what he was able to do with his crew.
Yeah.
He would drop a new album like every week, and all
That's
he
what
had
it
to do
seemed
was
like.
just introduce somebody new in the crew. You know what I'm saying? He would
Yeah.
use the crew to introduce somebody. They would do a crew song on every album. You know what I'm
True.
saying? And we introduced the new artist on the label through the crew song, and then they
And the
drop an
thing
album
is,
within the month. Like, you know what I'm
and
saying?
even if you didn't know it, you saw the CD in the record store just based on the album on the CD artwork. You knew that was Cash Money Crew. They had a distinctive artwork.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
No Limit. Or Cash Money was
I
pretty
mean, I mean, I
distinctive
mean,
too.
I didn't mean Cash Money, but No Limit. Yeah, No
Yeah,
Limit.
because they had the plastic cases, man, with like very
They had
unique
they
cover
even had
artwork.
this, yeah, they even had a certain kind of artwork on how they marketed. You know what I'm saying? Pushing their music out.
Yeah, it would be like a
You knew who
colorful
they
album
belonged to.
color, like a hard plastic, not like the clear plastic, but like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was just different, man. He did it special out of everybody's crew. You know what I'm saying? Because the other crews tended to be smaller crews, like
Yeah.
G Unit. Everybody went platinum, that was cool, but it won't like P. P pushed a whole
Oh,
lot
it
of
was a
people out
movement, man. It was a
there.
movement. Right. You're right. You're right. And
Yeah,
even
but
took an artist like Snoop Dogg, who was already solid, and pushed him. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
continued his career.
Yeah.
Snoop was on the decline without P, man. You know, and Snoop will admit that he needed that. P gave him life, and then he went off, and now Snoop is still got the longevity he has today based off
Mhm.
that. But that was a make or break moment when he left Death Row. And
That's facts. I mean, and how many crews can say they done that? So you might have a good point with No Limit and Master P, man.
yeah,
As far as being one of the top notch crews or the, you know what I'm saying, most successful in what they did with having the crew, pushing
yeah,
the crew like he did. You know.
definitely. And you got to also consider the fact he did it at a time where his sound won't end. The South
Hmm.
won't popping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He 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 took the South to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that there weren't already people, but he actually came out and had a movement for the South. That
Hmm.
I'm not going to say that Cash Money was doing their own thing, but in a way they kind of rode the wave just a little bit. You know what I'm
They were, yeah.
saying?
They rode the wave. I mean, of course, did they extend the wave? They
Yeah,
did.
yeah. They
Did they
took the wave to the
capitalize
next
and take it
level.
to the next level? Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But did they ride the wave to get going the way they get the momentum they got? Absolutely. They
Mm-hmm.
can't deny that. I don't care what they say or what any Cash Money fan says. Oh, they rode that wave.
Yeah.
Ain't no way you didn't ride that wave.
And when I give P his props, I'm not taking nothing away from Jay Prince and Rap a Lot or nothing from what they was doing in Memphis with that 3 6 and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, ain't nobody do it like P. Ain't nobody do it like
That's
P.
fact.
You know what I'm
That's fact.
saying?
I can see your point on that. I can definitely see your point on it. Well, yeah. So you're
Shout out to Rap a
saying,
Lot.
so you're saying now in this new generation that the hip hop crew is gone. Like it's a I don't want to say extinct, but an endangered species.
Yeah, and it's based off of well, I'm gonna say this, and then I want to revisit something else on this crew thing because I feel like this might shift the conversation. But I think the crew ended because you have so many artists that don't have they're such one hit wonders that they can't power a crew. You know what I'm saying? Like
That is true.
that's my
That is true.
perspective of it. Even the ones that are big enough to possibly move a crew, I don't think they thinking on that level to be like an exec. You know what I'm saying? To where
Mm-hmm.
they would go start a label and get a crew. There's some big names that'll be around, but they just not like Drake could have did the crew thing. He kind of tried to do it. I think the weekend came out of his camp, but that whole OVO thing didn't go nowhere. And I think Drake
Nah.
was always happy being an employee. You know what I'm saying? Like he was
Yeah.
happy working for somebody. He really never had to sign with Cash Money or Young Money or whatever he signed with. He could have did it on his own when he came out. He had enough movement to do it. He
Mm-hmm.
signed and he was happy doing that. And I think he's happy being a worker. Anybody else that's big enough, like some of the young artists, I don't think they in exec mode, man. I think they just happy getting their money and doing their own thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
and all the rest of them are just one hit wonders. They can't do it.
And I mean, and that's sad to see for me because I think that was something that was exciting to me in the hip hop culture and in the hip hop movement is watching how these crews would I'm saying come together, formulate and take on these identities and like in my opinion, it was something that was something that pushed the culture forward, pushed hip hop culture forward. And like I said, it's not saying it's a necessity, but it's kind of sad to me to see it. You know, especially I was a big fan of I was a big fan of MMG and that whole movement, and to kind of see even how they dismantled and not kept together as strong as I mean they still ride for each other and stuff like that, but it's not the same as it was in their heyday when it was just getting going and getting that momentum going. That was a
And
fun
none
time for me.
and none of them created a crew. Dream Chasers ain't got no crew. He put a label out,
Yeah,
but he
then the
ain't got
crew.
no crew. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right.
nobody created a crew out of that.
So it's like it's just kind of sad to see because, like I said, growing up being a hip hop fan, it was fun to see that throughout the years. You know, to see how this crew was coming together and see how that crew was coming together and see how this crew was coming at this crew and the competitiveness and building the families. Like I said, and then creating identities and then the fans relating to these identities. Each one you can. I'm a J. I'm a G Unit guy. I'm a Dipset guy. I'm a Terror Squad guy. You know what I'm saying? That was exciting. Rough Riders, you know what I'm saying? Like that was big. I'm a Rough Rider guy. You know what I'm saying? People we were like, who was in high, when we was in high school, people used to rep these things and draw the symbols, and they was like, this Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Wu-Tang guy.
People would buy the charms and put them on their necklaces. I seen that.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the 90s and 2000s, it was fun to see. You know what I'm saying? It was fun to be a part of. And I feel that for the young generation in hip hop.
Well, and another element to it is it's hard to do the crew thing
when
the crew thing is hard to do when you're not traditionally rapping. Hard to have a crew full of singers. You know what I'm saying? You can't really have a crew of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't. Yeah. That's solo music, man. Like,
yeah, you're right. That's solo music, man.
So
it just ain't the same no more for me.
Until people start like doing traditional rap, I don't even want to call it old school. You know what I'm saying? But until people go back to bars, you ain't gonna get no crews, man.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's a group of people singing, rapping together.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen.
Not like how Bone Thugs and Harmony used to do either. You know what I'm saying?
Just different. Because they all had harmony, but they were still rapping. Only like Busy was singing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it'd be one thing to have a Busy or a Nate Dogg in your crew, but you can't have a crew full of Nate Doggs. It just don't work.
Mm-hmm.
Crew full of Busy.
You gotta have one.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You got one guy that does that. You know what I'm saying? A female in your crew. You know what I'm saying? Another female singer, maybe. Bunch of MCs that kill it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how. I don't know. It's just different now.
I'm gonna tell
I can't see anybody doing it.
I'm gonna tell you somebody who is underrated when it comes to the crew thing, because anybody that was anybody in Atlanta came through him.
Mm-hmm.
Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane, as far as a crew goes, if you was anybody and you spent time in Atlanta, you went through Gucci's camp. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the way to Nicki Minaj and other people. You know what I'm saying? They all spent time there. Migos, all of them you dealt with, you had to come through Gucci. People came up through him. Through Gucci, man. So he's he don't ever, his name never gets mentioned. So I just wanted to mention his name because nobody ever mentioned Gucci.
And I think it's probably because he, and the credit to him too, he never put a label on people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he just let them hang with him.
Like that was it. I know he had this so icy thing and whatnot, but he never held him to, you have to rep this. You know what I'm saying? He was just a muscle behind him. People. Yeah, which to credit him on how he handled his business. But as far as like solidifying that crew, he definitely could have done that. Migos and him and whoever else underneath that whole umbrella could have came together and created that crew, and would have been that MMG of that time, or would have been that Rockefeller of that time. You know, he really could have done that.
He could have been huge if he'd have signed everybody that ran through his camp at some point. Gucci would have been, everybody would have had a whole nother respect for him, man. But instead, like you say, he won't get in contracts on these people. He was just a collaborator, coming to his studios, hanging with them, you know what I'm saying, doing little mixtape features and stuff, working with him, just being a worker with him. And he don't get the credit, you know what I'm saying? People forget that people started with Gucci, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody remember all of them.
And he had a stable producer. Just like the Manny Fresh to Cash Money, you know what I'm saying? He has Zaytoven. You know, he had the formula. He had the
The
formula.
808 Mafia was dealing with him. You know what I'm saying? And they whole crew, because they was running with Waka and all them. So you got to think about who was all a part of that. Metro Boom and all them guys, man. They all had they
Metro Boomin.
start down in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
area.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Southside, all the big name Atlanta producers. You know what I'm saying? He gave them all. He put them all on, man. And most of them all got their first shot through Gucci. Like so. Yeah, man. He missed his
Yeah.
flowers, man, just by not doing contracts. But like you said,
Mhm.
it shows how really kept it with people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, 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 yeah. So like on the intimate level with those individuals, I'm pretty sure they have a high regard for them, but it's just on the mass scheme of everything. You know what I'm saying? With
you don't get no
you know what
props.
I'm saying, popular culture, yeah, he don't get the props for that. But you know what I'm saying, intimately, I'm pretty sure he does. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody recognized what you know what I'm saying advantage he gave to him. You know, so like
Right. Yeah. In the industry, I'm
no
sure they
doubt on
all
that.
know.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely, they know,
I'm sure he got
they
a
know.
lot of love in the industry among behind the scenes because everybody know he gave
Mm-hmm.
him a shot. But yeah. Now moving on, shifting gears. Who would you say was the first real crew in hip hop? And we ain't going back to the '80s and none of the breakdancing crews. You know what I'm saying?
We're
Like,
gonna we're just gonna start with the '90s and on.
uh, I mean, like a crew, not how you broke it down with crew and group. Okay, matter of fact, explain that to people because I know your understanding of a group versus a crew, but so people get the context of this conversation we having. Break down the difference between a group and a crew, and then tell me who you believe the first crew is. And kind of
All
based on
right.
that, crews probably did start in the '90s based off of your definition.
So in my opinion, a group is few individuals, two, three, four, five, maybe, coming together, not as solo acts, not solo acts first, but I mean, you could have one person who might have been solo, but not have hit a certain level of celebrity yet. You know what I'm saying he couldn't have he or she couldn't have hit a certain level of celebrity, you know, in order to create this crew, or create the group. So it had to be something not necessarily organic, but individuals who are working together to do a project as a you know what I'm saying solidified body of work. You know what I'm saying? Like I guess to give an example, the original Wu Tang members is a group. Outkast is a group. 3 6 Mafia group. Um, and then a crew is a collective of individuals, not not dependent on one person's celebrity or not. Like Rough Riders, a group. You got DMX, name all by itself. The Locks, a name by themselves, coming together, making a crew. Eve, a name by herself, coming together, making a crew. Then the group is Jada Kid Styles P, you know what I'm saying, and Sheep coming together, making a name as a group. So that's my vision of what a crew versus a group is.
Okay. So, in your opinion, who would you say is the earliest group crew that you can remember?
Earliest crew. Hmm. Ah, Death Row. Death Row even before Bad Boy. Or maybe no, hold on. Let me think. Let me really think back. I want to say Death Row came before Bad Boy as a crew because you already had you had individuals who already had names. You had a Dr. Dre who had a name with
Right.
NWA. You had Snoop Dogg who created the name of the Dr. Dre eventually. They
Right.
brought in Tupac who had a name. You know what I'm saying? So you had names who came together and created a crew. You know,
Right.
Bad Boy didn't necessarily do that yet. They created that eventually. They had Big, they had Craig Mack creating a name, but Death Row already had people who already had names before they really created a lot of big records together. Bad
When
Boy
did
created names along the
when did
way.
when did when did when did Big really when did Juicy come out? Was that 95 or 94?
95.
95?
It might
95.
have been actually might have been 94. Might have been like late 94. or early 95. I really can't say. Don't quote me on it.
I'm gonna go with 95. I'm gonna go with 95. I feel like 95 is it, but 94 is popping in my head. So we're gonna say Bad Boy probably started around 95. You know what I'm saying? As a crew. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when they got legs. Snoop was already out with Dr. Dre, who already had
Right.
a name. You know what I'm saying? They was
Who
already
was
signed
already
to
out.
Death Row.
And Pac was already out.
Warren G was on Death Row too, right? If I'm not mistaken. Death Row
He
already
was
had
already
Warren
out.
G, Nate Dogg,
Early
all
90s.
there. Yeah,
It was
so
already
they
out.
were a crew at that point. They were a crew. So you might be on to something with saying Death Row might have been the initial crew.
Initial crew. Yeah.
I'm I'm
I
still
mean, granted, you had other crews. You had I'm trying to think about Eric Sermon and them boys. When did they really get going? I mean, they might not have
EPMD.
been as big of as a crew, yeah. Because he had Def Squad, but when did Def Squad really get going? And how big were they compared to Death Row at that time? Because I want to say they was
Death
going around
Squad,
early 90s
Keith
too.
Murray, Redman, and Sermon.
And Sermon and all his boys, all of them.
I don't know. I don't know when that was, man. I want to say that was some. I want to say around 95 too, wasn't it? Or was that before that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it might have been a little bit before then. Because Eric Sermon, and you were saying they was out way, way before then. But as he started formulating his crew, it might have been that mid to just late early 90s, at 93, 94, 95. So it might have been around that time. But did they have the name like Death Row? Not even close.
No, not anywhere.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the only other crew I can probably even think of. I mean, of course, you had Outkast and Organized
Dungeon Family?
Noise and Dungeon Family, all of that stuff.
Which was
Yeah,
a crew.
but they
It
really,
was definitely a crew.
yeah, but they didn't really get going. He might have got going around 94. 96, of course, is when they really popped. But of course,
We got to
Goody Mob
base
and
it
them
off when they
boys, they was
started
going
making some
too.
noise. I can't base it off their consumption. It's got to be based off of when they started making noise.
When they started making noise. Yeah.
For all of these crews, like, because it's hard to just be like, okay, well, this person predated them because actually they got together in '92, but
Yeah, but
this day,
yeah, but
I don't
if
care
your
about that.
trajectory was down here and another crew was already right here, even though they might have came, say you started your crew in '88, but you didn't really get hot until '95. But this crew started their crew in '92, but they was hot in '93. I'm gonna give credit to that crew that was hot in '93 that started in '92. Yeah. So I say Death Row. And they really had people out. And then, like, especially when it comes to crew, I also base it on how people identify with them. And I remember that 94, 95 period, I was in Japan at this time. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of people that was not in America going up West Side. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you far east. We in Japan, you far east. But you throwing a West Side. You know what I'm saying? We far east. We right here by the East China Sea. But we was identifying with that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a crew is. And that's why I say that, and that's why I had the sentiment I have when it comes to the hip hop crews, is because I remember that. I remember being 11, 12 years old in the early 90s and being as far across on the other side of the world and identifying with a crew.
Right.
People identify with that, with what Death Row was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like people who probably ain't never lived in California a day in their life talking about West Side. You know what I'm saying?
I remember
It
being
was that.
proud and people in my area having like little groups and stuff, calling themselves 213.
Yeah.
That was the group, but that's their area code out in LA. You know what I'm saying? So they group was based
Yeah.
off their area code, and people out in my area, I want your area code, but they called themselves 213 also.
But they identify with it. Yeah.
They identify with the crew. You know what I'm saying? And enough to want to emulate them and call themselves the same thing. So yeah, it's a good point, man. People looked up, wanted to be like them.
Yep. Yeah, man. That's why I say that's the power of a crew, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, times have changed. The crew is dead. Will the crew make a return? I think one day it will, but I really do think it boils down to also it boils down to not being enough artists with enough power to do it, and the artists that do have enough power to do it, they're not making the type of music to do it. Like,
Hmm.
or either they just not thinking with a business acumen. It's one or the other. But
Right.
um,
Like maybe just right now, cruise is not the most lucrative
yeah,
business.
with the way
Uh,
music is released, also, you know what I'm saying? Why
yeah,
would you need a crew when all you got to do is just release it yourself on SoundCloud or somewhere? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's just
yeah,
in total independent mode, what they'll do for themselves, and they not
yeah. But I just
no
think
coattails.
it'll last longer in the impression. I think
I
that a
agree.
crew will allow you to last longer. Like even with Ja Rule coming back doing his verses, you think about, man, it threw me back in the man, Murder Inc. And then not only did it bring back, you thinking about Ashanti, Lloyd, whoever, like I'm saying, Vita came on the stage. Nobody thought about Vita in years, but it's like it brought life back to her. You know what I'm saying? Because of the crew.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So like it's something that allows the whole gamut to last longer in the grand scheme of things. And I don't think they're thinking about that. Just like I said, just because the impression and the identification that it brings to the table with, what I'm saying, your fan base. But we are where we are, right?
yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. You got to have a catalog for a crew, man.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just it's factors to it, man. It's factors, but I would like to see it come back. But
yeah, me
I
too, me
think the
too.
biggest factor is the music itself, man. The music has got to be conducive to a crew, and it's not like,
Yeah, well, but what is it going to
yeah,
take for them to
everybody
get
can't
back
go yeah
there?
yeah yeah on a song. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, a crew's not predicated on that.
mm-mm,
Yeah, man. But
at
yeah,
all.
we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, man.
All right. What's your
I'm
final
getting
thoughts on your cigar?
man, my final thoughts on this cigar is like I said earlier, it's everything that I thought it would be when I saw it in there and I picked it up. The T52 version number 9, I get an edge to the T52. I think that's the one when it comes to legal provider. Which makes sense because I was in the humidor. I didn't mention this earlier, but they had a specific sign on it that says you can only pick one. They
Hmm.
had three different types, three different rolls of cigars, but they didn't say. They said they specified not one of each, just one. Limit one T52. You can't you couldn't get the torpedo and the Corona or whatever. Now you had to
Yeah,
get just one. So that probably speaks volumes to either the rarity of it or the greatness of it. Either one.
yeah.
So yeah, definitely T52. Um, we're gonna put that in my top 5.
Okay. Well, I got into the second third of my cigar, and I started getting a little bit some of them earthy tones, and still some of the woody
Mm-hmm.
tones and whatnot. A little bit of nuttiness. It got a little bit stronger. Still smooth cigar though. Still smooth cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, I'm gonna give mine on a scale from 1 to 5. I'm gonna give it a rating of 3. And if you don't mind, what would you rate your what would you rate that Liga?
5.
Woo! That's the first 5 on Vernon so far. That's the first 5 on the
First
Cigars and
5.
Everything Else podcast. Okay.
I got to give it a 5. Will I lower it based on another cigar that I smoke right now? I'm gonna give it a 5. We're gonna keep it at a 5.
All right. Y'all keep in mind that we also do he could have went 4.7 or 4.9 if he wanted to. We actually get into them increments like that, and he went straight 5. So yeah, y'all keep a lookout for that one. If you see it in a humor or somewhere, grab your 2 if they let you.
It's a great.
Yeah, grab at
Yeah.
least 2 if they let you. All right, man. Well, you any closing thoughts before we get out?
Now, man, just ready to get back at it again. Pick up one of these Gurkhas, and maybe that might be the next episode. Maybe not. I'm not sure. We'll see. Like I said, we'll determine. But we will start doing the research or find out the best Gurkha that we can find, and take a travel down that road, man.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, everybody. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in to this week's episode 8 of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. My name's Jared. Denzel's my co-host. You guys be sure to tune in next week on Monday for the next episode, and we'll get with you later.